Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have some intel on the Blacksmith for the upcoming Hell to the King update. Of course, as most of you guys know, if you try to log into Evil Dead the game today, you cannot do it because it's under a 31-hour maintenance right now until 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow morning. But we do have some intel on the Blacksmith. They did release on their social, and they also did release a preview video on their YouTube featuring Sohinki and a few of the other guys that cover Evil Dead the game, which was awesome. It wasn't a stream this time. It was just a kind of like a small compacted video explaining the Blacksmith. So let's get into it, guys. So our speculation revolving his class, and most people's speculation was wrong. He is not a leader or warrior, but instead a support. So I know a few people did mention that too, that they think he'd be a support. Well, there you go. He is a support, but he's not your typical support, guys, okay? He is a tanky support. A very tanky support. He has a base 1300 health, and I believe in the video they mentioned you can get that health up to 2000 with your pink Fs, which is huge for a support class. And assuming, considering how big Blacksmith is and stuff like that, you would think he would be a little more tanky than your average support. But he is a very different character from any other character in the game. And for those of you that have speculated he's going to have a crafting system, you are exactly correct. We were right about that. He is going to be able to craft weapons, complete weapons from scratch. So, what the interesting thing about Blacksmith, and also the concerning thing to me about Blacksmith, is he does not have a ranged weapon. You cannot use a ranged weapon with Blacksmith. In fact, in his Pink F upgrades, there is no option for ranged, but it is instead switched to scrap. So, essentially what he's going to do, he's going to run around the map, he's going to kill basic units, and I'm sure there's other ways too, but I have to watch the video back, but I know at least killing basic units and units, things like that, drop scrap. I think it's a small amount, but I think you can start out by holding up to 20 scrap, and as you upgrade your pink Fs, you can upgrade that to being able to hold 50 scrap. So, with that said, guys, if you max out your pink F upgrades, again, the scrap is going to replace ranged. If you max that out, you can hold up to 50 scrap at a time. And from what I'm assuming and what it looked like in the video, the more scrap you have, the better chance you have of rolling a higher rarity weapon. So, essentially, it's very simple how his ability works. You collect a bunch of scrap until you have enough to the rarity of weapon you want for your team. You use your ability. He pulls out a hammer right in the middle of anywhere you're at, a hammer and anvil, and he proceeds to pound out a crafted weapon. Now, it does look like this weapon is 100% completely random, but it seems like it can be pretty easy to do. Now, as far as your team dropping scrap for you, Blacksmith's the only one that can pick up this scrap, the only one that can do that. I don't know if the team can do that for you or if you have to only do it yourself. Obviously when we get more info and we get hands-on with them, we'll know that. But in a nutshell, guys, he is your craftsman. He is a support. It does make sense. We now have 5 supports in the game. Still 3 leaders, but 5 supports. But it does make sense to have Blacksmith as a support if he's going to be crafting weapons for the team. But again, in a nutshell, no ranged weapon. He's a very tanky support. The tankiest support by far, so he can take some damage. He's kind of got that warrior tankiness. He cannot use a ranged weapon. And I also wanted to mention too, guys, whenever he uses an amulet, this is his passive ability. Whenever he uses an amulet, he has a chance to not expend or break that amulet when he uses it. So, if you have one amulet and you use it, if RNG's in your favor, boom, you use the amulet, you'll still have one amulet. If it works out that way for you. So that is absolutely epic. I wish I wish some of the warriors had that ability, but I can understand why not. But it looks like Blacksmith's going to be a very well-rounded character, very well-rounded support. I know a lot of people are going to be using him, guys. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so rough in lobbies on day one. He's probably one of the most sought-out characters, especially how different he is compared to the other survivors. I did want to mention one of the things that concerned me, though. is most survivors, even warriors, anything like that, mostly want to pick up a ranged weapon, and that is to counter their possessed teammates. For example, if you're playing one of the warriors, you want to pick up, a pistol or a nail gun, a lever action, something that can shoot really fast. You're not worried about doing damage with it. You're just wanting something to shoot fast to take out those possessed teammates that are kind of far away from you, including the hunters especially, that are shooting you, because you can't get to them as a warrior with just a melee weapon. This is going to be concerning for Blacksmith. My concern is if you're playing with hunters with him, they get possessed. They're 20 yards away. What are you going to do? You can dodge and hide. You can try that, but you can't shoot back at them. You can't rid them of their possession by using ranged. So there's a good chance Blacksmith's going to have a really big target on him with possessed teammates. That is a very concerning thing to me, guys. I'm sure Saber and all those guys kind of looked over that, but this is huge. It is a very big deal to have a ranged weapon with any character you're using, basically just to combat, possessed teammates. So we'll see how that works. He does have a lot of health. He is very tanky, but I feel like he's got to rely on his team to constantly be around him, being aware of his other teammates, getting possessed and taking him out, because there's nothing he can do at ranged. He can only help close ranged with his melee weapon. But in a nutshell, guys, that is it. I'm making this video longer than Evil Dead the Game showcase of him. Yeah, Blacksmith, he's a craftsman. He's going to craft you weapons, random weapons. He can craft you up the legendary weapons. He's going to go around the map, collect scrap. He's going to craft you random weapons wherever you're at. He has a chance to not break an amulet when he uses it. He has a ton of health. He's a support class. That's him in a nutshell. We're going to be playing him tomorrow when he's released. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If we find any more out during the rest of the day on tomorrow's update, we'll be sure to let you know. But with that said, guys, my name is Sergeant Moose. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.